Hi, my name is Sean Davis. This is Brad Peitzig. We're both combat veterans. We're from Together with Veterans Northwest and the Oregon Firearms Safety Coalition. We appreciate this opportunity to speak with you today, and we're here to ask to help fund our documentary that we're doing, and we'll talk about that. But before we do, Brad's going to share a couple of statistics.
So, according to the veteran service officer for our county, Clatsop County is 12% veterans. This is double the rate of 6% nationally that the Pew Research Center has published. In rural Oregon, the veteran suicide rate is just under 50 per 100,000, which is over triple the national average for the general population of 14 per 100,000.
Yeah, we have a lot of veterans in rural Oregon, and Oregon is in the top 5 states for veteran suicide, and we're not really sure why. We're looking at it, some of the reasons are social fragmentation. They don't have that camaraderie that they used to have in the military, higher gun culture in rural areas, less access to mental health care or just any kind of medical care.
So, to start with my story, after a second deployment to Iraq, I was terribly isolated, living in a house in Wasilla, Alaska, and most of my friends from the deployment were with their families at this time. I began to experience psychosis for the first time that only in hindsight that I can recognize. And I don't know if that was early episode of the schizoaffective disorder that I would later be diagnosed with and discharged from the Army for, or if it was from PTSD. I don't recall the genesis of events, but eventually I found myself sitting in the front room with a rifle across my lap. Suddenly, my gun-shy dog came from the back bedroom she was hiding in and put her head on my knee and locked eyes with me. All it took was this moment of connection to ground me into reality, and a thought pulled me back. Who would take care of my dog?
I was in the regular Army for 6 years and went to Haiti. I got out and I got a job with the ODOT, the state of Oregon. I was going to school, but then September 11th happened. So I re-enlisted the day after and went with the Oregon National Guard to Iraq. And then I was critically injured there. A friend of mine was killed. Some other people were critically injured. I was sent home. When I healed up, Hurricane Katrina happened. And so I went down to New Orleans to help out where I could there. But when I left the service altogether after 12 years, I had a very hard time transitioning into the civilian world and really hard time processing my experience. I thought about suicide and I was going to kill myself because I didn't think that people wanted me here. I thought I was a burden for my family and my friends. What really helped me out was getting a mission. If somebody would have came to me with help, I wouldn't have taken it. I needed a mission. And so that's what we're trying to do with our documentary, is to connect our veterans with their communities.
So far we already have a podcast, Rogue Cell, that we are transitioning into a radio show on KMUN. Our first episode is going to be on Thanksgiving Day, and we'll be talking about gratitude on that day. Half of our documentary has already been shot on a first road trip, in which we dissected the problem of veteran suicide. We traveled a wide area of the state, beginning here in Astoria, and focused primarily on rural communities. We've went to Lebanon, Bend, John Day, Pendleton, the Columbia Gorge, the Alvord Desert, and all the way to the Oahe Canyonlands. We spoke with veterans, lawmakers, nonprofits, and community leaders. 2 trailers have been created from what we have gathered so far, as well as several other edited clips.
So what are we going to do next? We're doing another leg, our final leg of our documentary through Oregon. We're going to be talking to a woman, Maria Hammer, who's lost her combat veteran son to suicide. We'll be talking to Command Sergeant Major Brunk Conley, who was the Command Sergeant Major for the entire National Guard for the whole country, and some battalion commanders, other soldiers, and we're trying to figure out a good solution. How do we get these veterans into their communities and actually make those connections again after they isolate?
So if we were awarded these funds, we would use them to go on a second road trip. We already have the funding to go on the road trip, the 2 of us, but we don't have a cameraman, a director. We don't have anything of that sort right now,
Editor, 2 minutes.
and we don't have an editor yet. So we'd be using everything towards that, and then we would then be using it to fund the premiere of the documentary right here in Astoria, and then use the remainder to tour the areas that need to see it the most. And we would include a veterans fair for that.
Yeah, so your donation can save lives. We know connecting veterans with the communities works and fights suicide because we're both examples of that. We intend to have it done by Memorial Day of next summer, and we're going to go to all the little small towns that we went to speak to people and show it, and so they can see, like, first just calling attention to the problem, because not a whole lot of people really know that. And I know the war's kind of faded in our collective society's memory, but the suicides are higher than they've ever been. And I know we're not hitting that 22 a day anymore, that number everybody likes to hear. It's 17.5 a day still. But the thing is, there's so many fewer vets because the older veterans are dying. And just in 1980, 12% of America were vets. Today it's 6%, and that's the national average. You have anything else?
No, we do have a sneak peek coming on Memorial Day and a
Veterans
Q&A.
Day.
Oh, excuse me, Veterans Day. And our doors open at 6:30 for that. That's at the 1015 Theater. And we have the former VSO for the county, Josh Davis, is going to be the MC for the event.
Yeah, so if you have any more questions, or even if you did want to donate, we're going to be there, 1015 Theater, Monday night, coming up. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Oh, questions?
Okay, questions?
Yes. Who's got one?
If there are none?
Because I'll just talk for another 2 minutes.
I'm interested in the Veterans Northwest organization. What did you beyond this movie?
So,
The movie sounds great, but
right.
That's something else.
So we started with a podcast, and we went around the state of Oregon and just talking to people, trying to connect veterans again with their community in just this beautiful state. Get out there and do something. Then we went to our radio show and then we also do events where we give away like locks to pistols. We really highlight suicide prevention and awareness, trying to get it out. We talk to a lot of different, we work with other organizations here in the North Coast, you know. Yeah.
What time on Monday night?
Doors open at 6:30. Please, it'll be great. It's free, but it's a $10 suggested donation, you know, and
And my wife's baking for it.
It was really cool. The cookie thing that they have, you got to come just for the cookies. Is really cool.
One thing you told me, Sean, was that the suicide rate is not, I think, I at least thought it would be more predominantly younger people with more recent battle experience, but it's not. It's spread across all ages, even back to World War II vets.
And the highest,
And both genders.
the demographic that's going up the highest are women veterans.
Yeah.
Right now, it was going to go down in the last couple, 2021, 2022, it went down. 2023, the rate went way back up.
Thank you.
Thank you.